yesterday when I was thinking about the concern level, and then I started thinking, okay, let's go position by position or just side of the ball. Offense, to me, is much more dynamic and better than it was last year. You got a 1-2 tandem, and yeah, there were moments last year where it was Gibbs, more at the end of the year than it was at the beginning of the year, and moments where it was Montgomery. But I think this offense, the backs, J-Mo coming on this year and giving that deep threat. Tim Reynolds being not Tim Reynolds, Tim what's
Patrick.
His name? Patrick, yeah, Tim Patrick. Right, sorry.
Playing the role of Josh
Reynolds. Yes, there we go. I think he's been a good signing, and he has added to this offense. We haven't talked as much about Sam Laporta because he hasn't had as big of a year as he had last year, but it's because they have so many weapons. They have so many different ways to attack you, and this offense is better than last year. Special teams, better than last year. I think Sione Vaki was a sneaky good draft pick because of what he offers them on special teams. Defense, the secondary is leaps and bounds better than it was last year, and they're banged up front. I get that. But I still think the defense at this point of the year, even banged up, is going to perform better than the defense did last year at the end of the year. And that's a defense that was part of an NFC championship run. So Packers coming in here, a team that has a quarterback that is third in the NFL, not having played every game in interceptions, he's going to give you opportunities. The Lions will take advantage of those opportunities, and the offense will capitalize on them.
The injuries, we've hit on them. They're going to miss Taylor Decker. They're going to miss 3 defensive linemen, including DJ Reader. It's noticeable. It's going to be more difficult. And I think for a mortal football team, it would be enough.
With a mortal leader.
Yeah, that would be enough to trip them up.
Yeah.
But we've watched all year as the Lions have avoided those pitfalls. Because they're a cut above, because they're not your typical football team, they're a special football team. And along the way, they've won me over, they've won a lot of you over, and I think you got to stick with them tonight. I expect the Lions to win tonight. Listen, anything can happen. It's an NFL game. It could be close. I expect the Lions to win tonight. I'm not hoping the Lions win. I expect it. And some of what you said is exactly that. It may need to be a game where you win with your offense. The Lions have the number 1 offense in the NFL. Pretty good spot if you need your offense to win. At home, indoors, Goff with all the weapons. You may have to possess the ball. I think TOP is going to be so important tonight. Keeping the ball away from Green Bay, keeping your defense off the field. Detroit going on long, sustained drives that they finish in the end zone. They have the best offense in football. That's the biggest reason I believe in them tonight, but it's not the only reason. The other one is what you said. Jordan Love, most interceptions per game this year. I got Branch. I got Joseph, and Joseph loves playing against the Packers. Mm-hmm. I get a takeaway or 2, and that keeps the defense off the field. They find a way to get it done tonight. Shorthanded, battered, and bruised, they find a way. They are that special football team. And when you make a case like this, right, it can come across as they're never going to lose another game. Like I don't necessarily think that they're going to be a 16-1 team. I think it's more likely 15-2. I don't know where that loss comes, but I guess it's the reason isn't going to be because of the injuries. Green Bay could show up tonight like Milwaukee did on was it Friday night for the Pistons? Where I can't remember what night that game was. Sunday night, whatever. 2 days ago.
Was it Monday night? Oh, it seems like so long ago. where hey, they just come out and they're just hitting on everything. Like we saw that sometimes with the Lions when they go every possession and they just score. Like you can have a team that shows up and things don't go wrong for them. They're just hot and they can win a game. They could steal a game from you. But the reason that The reason it won't be is because of the injuries. I think this defense is still good enough to beat the Green Bay Packers, and then you take in the other 2 phases, and it can be a dominant game.
I don't know what the other shows are going to do today. We just do our part. We're setting the tone in the morning. We expect the Lions to win. We've offered you a choice. Are you in camp expect to win or in camp hope to win? And this is a disclaimer. If you call in and you don't believe they're going to win today, we're not going to call you names. We just want you to show your work. If you don't see it the way we see it, that's okay. This is a tough spot for the Lions. What are we missing? Why would they lose this game? 248-539-9797.
I mean, I kind of outlined one of the reasons where Green Bay just shows up and everything clicks on one night. It happens in sports.
If their defense is on the field a long time, they don't have the depth.
The Lions?
Yeah, if the Lions defense is on the field for a long time and it's Jacobs and they're running the ball and you're huffing and puffing and your defense is that third quarter, that fourth quarter, and you get Lions'd, right? They do what you want to do to them. It becomes this tug of war. Who's going to go on longer, more physical drives? And not just possessing the ball, but scoring touchdowns, because it could end up being a high-scoring game. I trust the Lions to win that game more than I do. And it's nothing against Jacobs' a good running back. LaFleur's a good coach. They're going to have some success offensively. The Lions will have more success.
Yeah, and you look at the secondary, and here's the other thing. When I compare last year's defense to this year's, we all love Alex Anzalone. I think he is an intense player. He's a leader of this defense. But as a player on the field, I think Jack Campbell is superior. I just do. From what he offers this team in terms of athletic ability, sideline to sideline, downhill, being able to drop back into coverage, his skill set is just greater than Alex Anzalone. And I don't want to disparage anything that Anzalone has done, but I think that's an upgrade. It was one that was forced because of injury, and we still saw Jack Campbell on the field all the time, and he was a good player. But position by position, he's an upgrade.
They lose this game, we could be a wild card team. Like, what's at stake? We talk about how important this game is.
Yeah, but it's...
Well, they won't be a wild card team tomorrow morning, right?
No.
They'd wake up with 2 losses. Minnesota has 2 losses, and Detroit has the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Well, and they play Minnesota at the end of the year.
To settle the division if it comes down to it. But people have pointed out that they are
a fine line.
A loss here, a loss there, and they're the 5 seed.
It is frustrating.
Sure.
That this season there are still 2 other 2-loss teams right there. That's pretty not the norm. Maybe one year you might like one team, but not 2. That is annoying. I still think that's the past talking to me when I start thinking about that. You know, I see the Vikings there, and it's like, in reality, I think the Lions are such a step above them as a team. You know, and then the number 1 seed with the Eagles, you're just like, okay, come on. You're going to lose 3 or 4 games, right?
Any day now.
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, that's the past coming to me, and it's just I can't completely shake it yet.
Greg's dying to say something.
You know who's unlucky? The Eagles, because they're on a tear and they're still behind the Lions. You know who else is unlucky? Right. The Vikings, because they're on a tear and they're still behind the Lions. Think of it as those teams are the unlucky ones because they are having great seasons and are still behind the Lions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Lions fans are feeling the pressure because this is a new position. They've never been in the number 1. Like last year, we were hoping, okay, if this happens, we could be a 1 seed.
But he doesn't have PTSD, and I do.
I think the expectations are part of this too, right? Like for Minnesota, they never dreamed they'd be in a position to win this division in December. And here they are nipping at their heels, looking at the Lions injury report, probably going, yes, just drop 1, open the door. And if I'm an Eagles fan, certainly the expectations are high there, but they're not the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. So again, they're probably going, hey, just give us an inch. Give us just a little bit of room to jump in and steal that 1 seed away. And while Greg's right, it's all about how you frame this. We are framing it from our perspective as Lions fans, and you don't want to give up any ground. And this would be an NFC loss tonight if they lose. It's a critically important game.
But let's also, I think that's a great exercise to go through. Looking at it from Minnesota's point of view, looking at it from the Eagles' point of view. What do we got to do to finally get in front of the Lions? Let's look at it from Green Bay. And we're looking at it from our perspective where, defensive line's banged up. They'd like to run the ball. Well, what else are the Lions good at? We're really good at throwing the ball. Who's out for Green Bay?
Jair
Alexander, Ballantyne, who, whatever. It's still, he's a corner. It's depth, and Edgerrin Cooper, who's their linebacker, who they use in coverage a lot. They rush him too, but that's a guy that's going to have to help cover Laporta and some of these other, mid-level passing game
he's a
targets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at it from their perspective thinking, well, how do we stop this passing attack?